March 8, 2014, a day that will forever be etched in the memories of families and loved ones around the world. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, bound for Beijing with 239 souls on board. But little did they know, this would be the last time anyone would ever see or hear from them again. The last transmission from MH370 was at 1:19 a.m., a routine communication with air traffic control about fuel levels. But something was off. The crew's responses were delayed and hesitant, hinting at a growing sense of unease. What could have triggered this sudden anxiety? As MH370 disappeared from radar, investigators would later discover that it had made a sharp turn westward, away from its intended route to Beijing. But why? Was this a deliberate act or an error of catastrophic proportions? The search for answers would take investigators deep into the heart of the South China Sea. For the families of those on board, the wait for answers would be agonizing. As the world watched in horror, they clung to hope that their loved ones might still be alive. But as the hours turned into days, and then weeks, a new reality began to dawn on them. MH370 was gone, and it seemed unlikely to ever be seen again. Malaysia Airlines Flight Tracking System (ACARS) sent its last signal to a satellite at 1:21 a.m. on March 8. But what happened next is still unclear. Radar data suggests Flight 370 flew for over an hour after losing contact, but this trail ends abruptly in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Satellite imagery captured a possible sighting of Flight 370, but the images are disputed. China's satellite system reported seeing a 777-200ER aircraft, matching the missing airliner's configuration. However, experts warn that this could be a misidentification. The investigation has focused on a 700-mile stretch of ocean where radar data suggests Flight 370 may have turned back towards Malaysia. Some experts believe the plane could have been intentionally guided to this area, while others argue it was an attempt to escape detection. Computer simulations have recreated Flight 370's final hours, but the truth remains elusive. One theory is that someone on board intentionally took control of the plane, deliberately flying it off course to avoid detection. But what could have motivated such an act? In the days following the disappearance, teams from Malaysia and Vietnam scoured the South China Sea for signs of the missing plane. This aerial footage shows the scale of the search operation, with ships and planes combing the ocean for any sign of debris. Radar data revealed that Flight 370 deviated from its planned course just hours after takeoff. The investigation team is trying to determine what caused this significant deviation, but so far, no clear explanation has been found. The Malaysian Air Force's initial response to the disappearance was criticized for being slow and ineffective. The officer responsible for tracking Flight 370 that night reveals the challenges faced by his team in keeping pace with the rapidly unfolding crisis. The investigation has revealed that Flight 370's fuel level was sufficient for several hours after it disappeared from radar. This raises the possibility that the plane could have flown for an extended period before crashing or being intentionally diverted. Investigators are now focusing on this theory, searching for evidence to support it. Malaysian authorities began investigating the disappearance by analyzing radar data from the night of March 8, 2014. One critical piece of evidence was this radar return, which shows a blip matching the speed and altitude of MH370 at 1:21 a.m. local time. But where did it go? Air traffic control was alerted to the disappearance when MH370 failed to check in for its scheduled handover from Malaysian airspace to Vietnamese airspace. "We were surprised, because we did not expect anything like this to happen," says a senior ATC official. The aircraft just vanished. Investigators focused on the last known position of MH370, where radar contact was lost over the South China Sea. Satellite data showed the plane deviated from its planned route and flew for several hours before ending transmission. But where exactly did it end up? The search for MH370 would go on to become the largest and most complex in aviation history. Teams scoured the Indian Ocean, using advanced sonar and submersible technology to scour the seafloor. But despite these efforts, no signs of wreckage were ever found. After nearly 8 years, the search for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 has been one of the most extensive and expensive in aviation history. Despite numerous leads and theories, the wreckage remains elusive. The investigation has shed light on potential causes, but the exact circumstances of its disappearance may never be fully known. The disappearance of Flight 370 has left behind a trail of unanswered questions and a lasting impact on the aviation industry. While some theories point to human error or hijacking, others suggest that the truth may never be fully revealed. As we remember the 239 lives lost, we are reminded of the fragility of life and the importance of accountability in the face of uncertainty. The search for Flight 370 serves as a poignant reminder: the skies we traverse are not always as secure as we believe. Closing music plays as the documentary fades to black.